Hello, and welcome back. In today's episode, I'm going to be talking about the difference between imagination and creativity. I received a question on my DMs the other day on Instagram, and it was exactly that. But what's the difference between imagination and creativity? Imagination is your mind's eye. So it's like your mind's eyes as like, what can you picture when you close your eyes and you imagine something? So imagination is the first step. The second step is creativity. So when you close your eyes and you imagine something, let's say now I'm imagining that I'm at the beach and it's hot and it's sunny and it's beautiful and I can feel the warmth. I'm imagining, okay? Now, creativity is what is going to bring that imagination into life. Now, you can come up with, oh, but there's not all the imagination that can be turned into a physical thing. And if you think about everything in this world, this phone that I'm recording on, my computer, my clothing, everything was before imagined. It wasn't just like, pencil, done. No, everything had to go through the process of being inside of your mind first, then turn into a creation in physical world. So how do you play with this imagination and the creativity? Before, let me just explain to you exactly what creativity is. So creativity is going to be the actions you take to bring something to life, to the physical world. Before was just in your mind. But when you create something, when you use your creativity, you bring into life. So imagination is your mind's eyes, and creativity is the actions you take to bring that image that you had in your mind into the physical world. So it's much more fun. It is fun to imagine, but it's much more fun to see with your eyes, your physical eyes, what you first imagined. I'll give you an example, okay? So for a long time, I cannot even remember from what age, but I would say about 13, 14, I always wanted to speak in English. And it took me a fair bit of time till I made the decision to move to Australia. So now imagine I was in Brazil living my normal Brazilian life. And in my mind, I was always like, oh, I wish I could speak in English. I wish I could. I always imagined that I was like Carrie Bradshaw from Sex and the City. And I was just like walking around, the streets holding my takeaway cup. And so I decided that I wanted to turn my imagination, the images in my head, into reality. Of course, that at the time, I didn't have this concept at all, just happened. Yeah. But I knew that if I really wanted something, at that time, I remember, I knew that if I really wanted something, I would have to do something about it. So I moved to Australia, and I remember clearly, even now, the day that I stopped. In Australia, they're quite picky with coffee. They have amazing coffee, amazing coffee. I remember stopping at McDonald's because when I arrived there, I didn't even know anything about the culture of coffee there. I didn't know much about Australia either. I just wanted to learn how to speak in English. So I moved to a country that was an English speaking country. So I got there and I stopped at McDonald's, and I let this woman go in front of me, and I kept listening to her because I didn't have any English either. So I arrived there. I didn't know anyone in the country. I really went for an adventure. It was pretty much like That's it. I had enough. I'm leaving. I'm making my wish come true. And I waited for this person in front of me to order her coffee so I could hear what she would say. Of course, that I had a little bit of a sense of English because I was always watching movies in English with the subtitles on. And I remember she asked, "Oh, can I have?" And then she ordered the coffee. So I did the same. "Can I please have?" And then the lady behind the counter asked me something else. And of course, I couldn't understand. So I just made that face like, "What? Oh?" And she said, "Oh, you cannot understand me." I could understand that, but yeah, not the rest. Um, and then I got my latte. And no, it was a cappuccino. And at the time, I remember walking on Flinders Street, which is the main street in Melbourne CBD, and holding my cup of coffee. And that was what I saw in my head for many, many years. It was like almost like I went back into my head, but this time was real. So, this is the power of imagination and creativity. Because if you use your imagination, but you don't take action, you don't put your creative mind to work, everything is going to stay in there. You might get like little things here and there that you once imagined and then suddenly happened. But the big dreams, the big ideas, the big projects, they need action. They need you to move, to make the move. Now, how can you make this link between your imagination and your creative mind? The best way is Joey Dispenza always says that your heart is the creative force. Your heart has the power of creation because your heart is your life force, and creativity is part of your life force. So, again, how do you use the power? First of all, you need to be more in the present moment. And I know that this can be quite hard for us in this connected world where we always have need some sort of like distraction. But being present can start with like a 2 minutes a day or 5 minutes, depending on how you feel. It's about you sitting down or you walking or you're doing anything where you are completely in the present moment. You're not stuck in your head. You're not thinking a lot of thoughts. You're not trying to plan what you're going to do later or what you're going to do tomorrow. And I know for moms, especially, this can be quite tricky because we always have something in our minds. There's always something else to do. But if you take, if you plan and have, like, let's say, a block of 5 minutes just to work on yourself, it would make a massive difference. Like within a week or two, you will feel the difference. So, okay, so you're going to sit down or walk and you're going to be totally present. So you're going to feel your toes, you're going to feel your muscles, your breathing, you're going to feel the wind if you are outdoors, you're going to feel the wind or the temperature. You're going to focus in something in the present moment. It could be, as I said, your breath, or it could be anything external as well. Like you can be watching like a bird and you can just be there watching the bird. I love watching them. You just pick one and then you just keep following around the backyard or the park. And that will bring, that will make your heart more coherent. And when your heart is more coherent, it's easier to have this connection between mind and body. For the first couple of weeks, I want you to just observe your feelings. How are you feeling in this moment? Are you calm? Are you tense? Are you relaxed? Are you happy? Are you content? Pay attention to that. And repeat this process for a whole month. You're going to think, oh, come on, a whole month. But changes don't happen overnight. It's like going to the gym, isn't it? It's the example that everybody uses, but it's a really good one. You don't build your muscles overnight. You need to keep going. And what I want you to understand is that this simple process of 2 5 minutes a day is going to start giving you more awareness. And from the awareness is going to come the creativity. Now, I'm not going to give you any exercise, anything to practice to get your creative mind at work now. No, we're first going to connect the mind and the heart. And then after the mind and the heart are connected, then we can move into the next step. So in today's episode, I'm not going to go any further, and I'll show you in other episodes how to really bring your creative flow back into your body. So if this video really resonates with you, please share with a friend or with a family member. Always please leave me comments down below because I love the connection. Stay in the present moment. Breathe. And to believe in yourself. I love you, and I'll see you next week. Mwah.